Hey guys, it's Tim, and this is Wrestling Unlimited. As it's Wednesday, and that means tonight is AEW Dynamite. And while I cough, everybody say welcome back, Luke, because Luke is finally back after missing a couple of shows here and there. But I mean, school work and all that takes precedence. But Luke, how the heck have you been?
Busy. I'll say that. You know, with a lot of stuff, just being a full-time student and
Right.
finals coming up. You know, I didn't really have any like exams. It was mainly just a lot of my stuff has been like final projects and
Gotcha.
presentations, which is, I would say, just as bad, but like more time consuming, I would say.
Right. That makes sense. So before we get into AEW Dynamite, you told me before we went on the air you wanted to talk about this new bloodline. So what is it that you wanted to talk about with the new bloodline in WWE and so forth? Take it away.
I will say, like, them bringing in Tangaloa was a complete surprise because no one knew when his contract was up. I'll say that. And like when I first saw the notification, because like I wasn't watching it live. Like, I think I was helping one of my friends out with something, so I wasn't watching it live. So I saw the notification. I was like, holy crap. I didn't even know his contract was up. I was like, this is cool. This is cool. Give me Guerrillas of Destiny versus the Usos. And I was thinking, 'cause I'm pretty sure Hikuleo's deal's up in June. Is that correct?
Yes.
So Hikuleo's deal's up in June. I was thinking, have Hikuleo be the enforcer for the new bloodline and have Jacob Fatu be the new enforcer for the original bloodline. So that way for War Games, 4-on-4.
So that is a good way to get it 4-on-4, but at the same time, my reasoning there, and I like the idea, but it's just like the new bloodline is all the new people in the company is the thing. So it's like this new guy, you need a super good reason why the new guy is not helping the other new guys and he's helping the old guys. You know what I mean? So that's the whole thing. I just feel like you need a really good reason why this new guy ain't in the new bloodline, if that makes sense.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they could just have Jacob Fatu be like, yeah, we made like a better offer for him than Solo.
They're right there. That's a good idea. I didn't think about it that way. You just say, hey, you know, I don't know. I could see it, but at the same time, and I know some people may not want to see this, I'm just like, you need 4-on-4. Just give me Sami Zayn. Just give me Sami Zayn on the babyface side.
I mean, I get it, but at the same time, it's like, I feel like it'd be much cooler if he had Fatu like match up with Hikuleo since they're both big dudes.
True.
And like, I feel like it'd be like better on paper if it was like an enforcer versus enforcer.
So here's my thing. Which way does Paul Heyman go? Old bloodline, new bloodline. We already know he's lying about Roman.
I can see him going new bloodline. Maybe he's like, Roman couldn't get the job done. He lost to Cody. He couldn't keep the belt.
True. Or he's just been intimidated so much by Solo over however many months it's going to be that he's so scared of Solo he can't go opposing Solo. There's that as well, you could say.
I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one. I feel like it could either go either way.
So I thought, and I said this the other day, once they, ended Roman's title reign at WrestleMania and whatnot, I was like, well, where the hell do they go with the bloodline now? And I really thought they were going to kind of peter off, but they've actually done a good job of keeping whatever this bloodline thing is interesting and keeping people interested and me interested in wanting to see where it actually goes. Because again, like I said, I thought it was just going to peter off and they were just going to be guys on the show with no Roman.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. I mean, I kind of thought you could have seen Solo and Jimmy as a tag team.
True.
That's why I kind of thought of it. Or maybe have Solo feud with Cody.
So that's an interesting story. I'm very, not concerned over the WrestleVotes tweet today that basically said that some in creative are trepidatious that Jacob Fatu might overshadow Solo Sikoa, because think about it, Jacob Fatu is a 100 times better wrestler than Solo Sikoa. He's as some have said, the best athlete in the family that's wrestling today. So we'll see how it all does go. I'm interested. You're interested. Everybody's interested in whatever they're doing with the Bloodline. But with that, we got AEW Dynamite to talk about. It kind of has their own faction warfare going on, I guess you could say. As at the end of tonight's show, we learned that we're going to get Anarchy in the arena at Double or Nothing. The Elite will be taking on Team AEW. Like we haven't seen this before in the past. So when they say in wrestling nowadays, oh, AEW ain't the new WCW, well, there's a couple of things they're doing that feels like old WCW. Every single time somebody in this company says, AEW, we're the best wrestle, all I can think of is WCW, where the big boys play. And now they're doing the Elite versus Team AEW, which feels a lot like the NWO versus Team WCW. And it's just like, oh, we're the NWO. We're going to take over and we're going to run the show now. And it's like, we're the Elite. We're going to take over. We're going to run the show now. Like, it just all feels the same. So I wanted your thoughts on that, on some of the things they're doing in this company, AEW, right now, that just feels so WCW.
I mean, one thing that I can't say on top of my head of what's comparing them to WCW is just always consistently signing new people. That was a big issue for WCW. And what did Tony Khan say when AEW first became a thing? He said the reason why WCW failed because they kept signing more and more people, and they can't sign people they just like always have a plan for them. Tony Khan's doing the exact same thing.
That is very true, and I didn't think about it that way. Yeah, he did say you can't overbloat your roster like WCW did, and that's what he's done. And he has so many people now just sitting on the side with nothing to do. Like, where's EJ and Duca? They announced he was signed. He did one match, and we haven't seen him since. Heck.
Lance Archer, Brian Keith.
Yeah, Brian Keith, he was the flavor of the month for a little bit leading into Supercard of Honor and whatnot, and coming out of that a little bit, and then he petered off. That's a good one. And Lance Archer, he's always been a guy where they've just always start and stopped with Lance Archer. They tried to put Jake Roberts with them, and it worked for a little bit, and then they just disappeared, and then they'll come back for a little bit, and then they'll disappear. They're trying to do a thing where it's Lance Archer and what are their names? What's the tag team name? Vincent and Dutch. I don't forget what their tag team name is, but they keep trying to put those three guys together on Collision episodes. So I don't know. Also, speaking of Collision and Rampage will be live this Saturday on TBS. No Rampage on Friday. It's Saturday, so another 3-hour block of AEW on a Saturday. I don't know about that one. Last time that happened, it literally went AEW Collision, did their however many viewers, and the minute Collision ended, 200,000 people dropped off. And they went straight into, no, it was when they did last week, when they went from Collision to Rampage, or Dynamite to Rampage. However many people watched Rampage last week, it was like 800 and something thousand, I believe. And literally, the moment 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific hit, 200,000 people plus turned the show off and didn't even see the conclusion to the Kenny Omega angle. So at least 3 hours, and it's happened on the Saturdays as well. AEW fans do not want to watch 3 hours. So,
I mean, this isn't WWE where like Raw is 3 hours.
Well, and that's not even really comparable because at least with a 3-hour Raw, you know that everything's cohesive and consistent, and whatever they say is the main event for the night is the last thing that's going to be on. It's weird when they do these 3-hour blocks, and it's like 2 different shows. You're going to get your Collision, you're going to get your Dynamite, you're going to have your Dynamite main event, and then you're literally getting a Rampage with matches that people don't care about, for the most part. And that's the thing that I think is really hurting the 3 hours, is you go into that 3rd hour knowing that whatever you're getting in that 3rd hour doesn't matter. For the most part. And that's the thing where you can't compare it to 3 hours of Raw because all 3 hours of Raw are supposed to be cohesive and work together. So I don't know. We'll see. The Righteous. Thank you, Kid Vicious. Dutch and Vincent are the Righteous. That's their name. I knew it was like the something, and I thought it started with an R, but I couldn't think of it. I just knew their actual names. But with that, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming, gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember to head over to YouTube and help us out over there as well. Hit that subscribe button. That way you know when we post new videos. That way you know when we go live. And that way you know when we post new things to the community tab. Also, today with YouTube, I posted, I don't know how many videos, maybe 4 or 5 different videos today. And 3 of them, for some reason, YouTube listed and posted as unlisted, which means like they're posted, but you're not going to get a notification and you're not going to be able to search for them. And then randomly, YouTube just posted them as public. So that's why our Dynamite preview actually posted during the last, or went public, I guess you could say, during the last like 30 minutes of the show. It was very weird. It had to happen with 3 different videos today and don't really know why. So I'm going to reach out to YouTube and see if that's a thing on their end or if I clicked the wrong button. But for it to happen 3 times, I feel like it's an issue on their end. So just so you guys know, if you saw randomly videos just popped up and then it said they had been posted for a while, that's why, like the Dynamite preview. But with that, also remember to head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use this code right here, PW Unlimited at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Right now, Hades 2 Early Access is available. You'll get that. I've heard great things about it. Now, I've played all through Hades 1 and loved it. Haven't played Hades 2 yet. But you can also get, there's a bunch of games on sale right now that are Star Wars related. And then the free games, Cat Quest 2 and Orcs Must Die 3. I know Orcs Must Die 3 is a fun game. I've played it. And then starting tomorrow, some new free games, Circus Electric. I think that's how you sell it. Electric Q, I don't know. And then Firestone free offer. Haven't seen or played either of those games. And then finally with, speaking of Star Wars, there's a bunch of new Star Wars stuff within Fortnite as well. You can get some new Lego Fortnite Star Wars stuff. And there's a bunch of new new Fortnite stuff as far as regular Fortnite with Star Wars and racing with Star Wars as well. Rocket racing. So with that, guys, let's talk about AEW Dynamite. Dynamite opens up. And we get Adam Copeland walking into the building. He walks up to the new announced lady. No Renee Paquette tonight, which is weird. I always butcher her first name. Arcady, I think that's how you say it. Arcady Aura. I have no clue who she is, but I've seen her for the last like 3 weeks now. Arcady Aura. She has his thoughts on facing Brody King tonight after facing Buddy Matthews last week. Copeland said that he doesn't feel great. And his mind has been going to places really shouldn't have been over the last week. He said that he spoke to Tony Khan, and the two have agreed that tonight's match can be no disqualification. And it's like, so you do no disqualification, and nothing against the match. I actually had a great time watching this match. I thought the match was really good. But you do no DQ, and then you don't even really play that up with the House of Black coming out. Unless I missed something. No House of Black members interfered, right?
Right. No House of Black members interfered.
So why are you making a no DQ and not like? It just didn't make sense to me to make the match no DQ and then really don't play off the fact of Brody King's got a faction. He's feuding with this entire faction, and none of them wanted to help Brody King, who was getting his ass beat. Like, come on. That's the one thing that took me out of this match. I'm sitting here going, that was cool. That was cool. I like that spot. But then at the same time, I'm going, All right, when's Buddy coming out? All right, when are the lights going to go out and Malachi's going to pop up? And that a little bit kind of took me out of the match, thinking that was going to happen because it's a no disqualification match. Why are you going to go no DQ against a House of Black member and not play up the fact that another member of House of Black can get involved? Like, it's just the little things there didn't make sense to me. So Excalibur then welcomes us to the show. Tony Schiavone is there, and they say Taz is not out. He's dealing with knee issues. Taz did tell us that earlier today on Twitter. They said that he will be back next week. So throughout the show, Don Callis would jump on commentary to be that third man. And the show does open up with, so Orange Cassidy's music hits. And the camera cuts to like a sweeping shot of the front row. And you have this one girl with short green hair going like, yeah, yeah. And she kind of like starts to shake her chest. So the guy standing next to her, I assume they're together, I don't know, grabs her tank top and like pulls it over to expose what could have been her breast, but she's got a bra on or whatever under it. And it's like, oh, damn. So the camera doesn't cut. It just starts to pan away and the guy does it again. And she's just like, ah. And I'm like, oh, that could have been bad. That could have been real bad. Luckily, she had the bra on. Just think if she didn't, and that guy did that with the camera right up in her. Oh, that could have been bad. Real bad.
Did that something like that happen in WWE television?
I believe so, with DX in like 2007. And I know they've done like Sable's done her thing and Miss Jackie's done that thing. But I think no. So the Sable one, I believe, was on a Raw here in Fresno. I have a buddy that was there and he's always told me, oh, I was at the Raw where Sable showed her tits. And then I know the Miss Jackie one was on pay-per-view, I believe, the Jacqueline one. But yeah, WWE's had wrestlers, flash the crowd. And also the Sable one, she had the handprint, so you really couldn't see anything. But yeah, I believe it was 2007 when they were doing that DX run, and a girl did flash the crowd, or flash, and the camera was right on her when they did it. So, I mean, yes, it's happened in WWE before.
Remember that GCW show where Chelsea Green flashed?
Oh yeah, she had the nipple covers on.
Yeah, it's still funny though.
Yeah, and they also filmed it in a way where you only saw her from like the back over to the side a little bit, so you like kind of got side boob, but really not. But then of course, someone in the crowd is gonna get a front shot. But yeah, I mean, showing your boobs in wrestling, but it's just funny because this was a fan. This was not planned, and so if she wasn't wearing that bra, I'm just saying, like, when they've done it in wrestling before, it's been protected to where you're not actually going to see any nudity-ish. This one, again, like I said, could have gone wrong. Anywho.
I feel like also in wrestling, you see, those wardrobe malfunctions. Remember Charlotte?
Yeah, we've seen those over time, and that's just inevitable. Which yeah. I thought that was happening in the Mariah May Harley Cameron match because randomly twice the camera just cuts to the stage and then cuts back. Oh, I don't know. That was weird. But as far as this opening match, it was Orange Cassidy and Trent Beretta. Remember last week, Orange did make the announcement that Chuck will never wrestle again. Yet, then later, Rocky goes up to Orange and was like, maybe we can get Chuck to come back. What? I thought he was told he could never wrestle again. Yet Rocky thinks that the three of them should go for the trios title, or maybe throw Shibata. I don't know. So I doubt Chuck is actually, quote unquote, done forever.
I don't know where they're going with this, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, I don't either. Because like I said, and we'll talk about it later, Rocky comes up and is like, if I can beat Jay White, then maybe Tony Khan said we can get a trios title shot. And maybe we can get Chuck to come out of like, what? Who said that? Anyway, I don't know.
I don't think he said Chuck. He just said
no, he did.
One of our choosing.
He said we can get he said we can have a partner of our choosing. Maybe Chuck will even come back. He literally said that. And then was like, Shibata's around too. So, I don't know. Anywho, as far as this match does go, I thought this was a good opener with a weak finish. Beretta was in control early on the outside, but an Irish whip allowed Cassidy to leapfrog the barricade and gain the advantage as we spilled to the crowd. And my first thought was, this match announced as like no DQ or something? Because ref ain't even counting. The ref don't even care what the hell they're doing. And so they're fighting in the crowd. Beretta responds by delivering a backdrop over the barricade to the ringside area. Cassidy then swept the legs of Beretta and he crashed on the railing. Back inside the ring, Cassidy fired off a desperation orange punch as both men were down. Don Callis then made his way to commentary as we went to a commercial break. Also, Esports Gaming Rules, thank you for the subscription on Twitch. We'll get to your question after this match. So, come back from the break and both men are slugging it out. Callis said that he likes the potential of Cassidy, which is why he left with him last week. And I'm just like, what? He's a babyface. You got a heel group. What the hell's going on, Don? So Beretta countered a stun dog millionaire, but he couldn't avoid a spinning DDT. Cassidy delivered a few little kicks and ramped it up, but Beretta, again, was there to respond with a half and half suplex. Beretta then flipped off the crowd and spiked Cassidy with multiple pile drivers and a knee strike. Also, did you notice Trent Beretta's t-shirt?
No, I did not.
It says best friend, and then it's just like an outline drawing of his head. It was like, I'm my own best friend. I'm like, oh, that's a little clever. I like that. It's like, I don't got any other friends anymore, just myself. Beretta went to rip off the turnbuckle pad, but was caught by the referee, so Cassidy ripped off the buckle pad of his own. Dodged Beretta's charge and hit the exposed buckle. Cassidy then got the schoolboy and the pin out of nowhere. So I'm like, oh, that's it? He runs into the buckle and he just rolls him up? Kind of anticlimactic, if I do say so myself. What do you think of the match before we get to the post-match?
I thought the match was decent. I know they always like to open up with Orange Cassidy a lot.
Yeah. Like, I was expecting... Go for it.
Here's my thing. Where the heck are they going with this, like, Trent Beretta heel?
You would think maybe joining Don, but then Don keeps grabbing Orange Cassidy, so that's where I'm confused.
I feel like they're just going to have him turn heel and do stuff in Ring of Honor as a heel.
I could see it. I mean, I'm happy that I can't just predict. So I'm happy that this is not super predictable. That's the one thing I will say. I'm glad that I am a little confused because I like when it's not super predictable. But it's weird in the fact that Don, the heel manager, keeps helping the big babyface, Orange Cassidy. That's what's got me like the most confused.
Maybe it could lead to like Orange turns down Don, then all of a sudden Trent Beretta joins him. Maybe.
Or he turns down Don, and that makes, well, who else is left in the Don Callis family? Just Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita? I mean, Ospreay sorta, because Hobbs is out injured.
Yeah, Hobbs out injured.
Sammy Guevara, Sammy's not with them, and no, they kicked Sammy out a while ago. Sammy Guevara, I don't even know what's going on with him. He's been gone for a while.
I think he's still suspended.
So I don't know. This isn't like a rumor or anything, but there's fan speculation that he's still suspended because Mercedes doesn't want him around. That's fan speculation. Because the timing of him.
Not want him around?
Well, because back in the day, he made some sexually innuendo jokes about Mercedes, and rumor was that they squashed the beef about it. She was offended. He called her and apologized, and yeah. It was like before AEW even started. He made like a joke about wanting to screw her or something like that. And don't quote me if I'm wrong on that one. Correct me if I'm wrong. And so like he did it on like a podcast or a radio interview, saying something about he'd have sex with her or whatnot. And like she took offense to it. And then years later, the clip came back from it. So like Tony suspended him for it. And then he reached out to her and apologized. And apparently they squashed the beef. But now fans are like, oh, maybe that's why he's still gone, because Mercedes doesn't want him around. I don't know. It's all fan speculation. As far as post-match does go, Beretta attacks Orange at the ringside and hits him with a hard spike pile driver on the ring steps. And then all of a sudden, Beretta follows up with a slingshot into the frame of the ring where he does the whole, pops him up into the metal frame. Callis then leaves commentary as, I guess, Orange grabs the chair and Trent had a toolbox, it looked like, I think. Was he going to throw the toolbox at Orange? Chris Statlander runs down, stops Trent. Don then grabs Orange and they walk off together. And I can't remember who it was. It might be an Excalibur, just yells, he was going to kill him. Trent could have killed him. And it's like, okay. Like, we haven't seen toolboxes get thrown in wrestling before. So, yeah, it's just, like I said, I'm glad I can't 100% super just predict where this is going, but it's just so confusing, the whole Orange and Dawn thing.
Yeah, I don't know. And like after like best friends now no longer a thing, what's it gonna do with Chuck?
Hey, like I said earlier, Orange said last week, Chuck's done. Chuck is never going to wrestle again, according to Orange Cassidy.
Unless, like, I don't, like, is he just gonna be a producer now, or?
I think that's a storyline, and he'll be back. I think wherever this Trent Beretta, Orange Cassidy, whatever, wherever the blow off is, that's when Chuck returns. I think they want you to think that he'll never come back, and then oh my God, we're so shocked, it's Chuck. When we're not really surprised, you know, that's what I think it is. We're supposed to think Chuck's never going to come back, so when he does, it's a huge shocker. As they move forward, the Elite are shown from earlier today arriving in their car. This is kind of a weird segment. Basically, it was just them showing up and parking in Tony Khan's spot. But first off, what? Tony Khan gets a spot? Like an actual marked, this is, I don't know. So yeah, that's all it really was. Basically, they were just like, we're parking in Tony Khan's spot because we're running the show tonight. Yet they told us multiple times, granted, Tony wasn't there. This whole thing is weird too, because it's like they've been EVPs for 5 years and have never made matches. But all of a sudden, they're making matches and they're running the show. Yet Tony Schiavone keeps going, I just got word from Tony Khan that this is going to be official. Like, what? So what is it? What? This is another confusing storyline. Are they really running the show? And if they are and they're allowed to make matches, why haven't they been making matches for 5 years? All of a sudden, Kenny's a matchmaker and a booker because he's an EVP? What? Again, I don't get it. It's just random and out of nowhere. Am I wrong on that?
I mean, you're not wrong, but at least it like kind of like adds on to their characters of like,
right?
Like, yeah, we're EVPs.
I mean, it makes sense character-wise, but it's like it's been 5 years. They've been EVPs for 5 years, and they've never done anything EVP-wise, I guess you would say. Like they've never. I don't know.
Unless they can go the route of like, yeah, we're EVPs, but Tony Khan never let us make matches and stuff.
You could do that, which I wish they would have said already.
Which it would have made sense. Like, yeah, we're EVPs, but Tony Khan never let us have like final say over anything.
Right, and that would have made so much sense if they've said that, but they haven't. They just said we still got Tony Khan. He's not here, so we're in charge. Yet you're not really in charge because Tony is still running the show from Dynamite and sending info to comment. I don't know. Also, the esports gaming rules question. He says everybody is surprised on what Kenny Omega brought to AEW. Also, well, what did Kenny Omega bring to AEW? I don't know about that. Anyways, so did you hear the possibility of CMLL and Stardom in Forbidden Door because they may be too much booking for AEW/New Japan show, even for Tony Khan? So basically, the whole thing with that, Rocky Romero just says that CMLL wrestlers and Stardom wrestlers may be involved in Forbidden Door this year. That's basically all it was. There's nothing really to it.
I mean, I thought CMLL and New Japan weren't allowed to work together.
AAA. New Japan doesn't like AAA. Hence why Nick Nemeth dropped that global championship. He won the AAA mega title, and immediately his next match, he dropped that New Japan belt. So, yeah, they don't like AAA. CMLL, they do every February, they do a CMLL tour in New Japan. Fantastica Mania. So, speaking of Kenny Omega appeared not live from the building as I predicted, but sent in a video from a hospital bed. Kenny is shown in the hospital bed and apologized for not being there tonight, but of course you see where he's at. He said the EVPs had other plans. 15 years of friendship, all taken away. He said, and I'm an EVP, so I can make decisions. Again, Where's that decision making been the last 5 years, Kenneth? Anywho, he said on May 26th, it's the 5th year anniversary of All Elite Wrestling. We need something big on that show. And the Elite, well, you're going to be in a match. You're going to be in Anarchy in the arena. And the 4 people that will face you, well, two are going to be people that you know very well. It's FTR. And then he goes, and the other 2 members, well, they'll be revealed tonight. And they'll be revealed sooner than you think. And I go, oh, so like within the next 2 segments or so? No, they waited till the very end of the show. So what that, I don't know. When you say they're going to be revealed tonight, but sooner than you think, my first thought was, okay, by the end of the show. Then when he said that sooner than you think line, I go, oh, like next? Like in the next 20, 30 minutes? No, hour and a half later. So I don't know. The line just wasn't needed for me. And I'm nitpicking, I know. But we know that the final 2 men in that match will be Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson. So what are your thoughts on the Elite against, and I got some thoughts on this one, but what are your thoughts first on the Elite versus Team AEW at Double or Nothing?
Honestly, I didn't really expect it.
I didn't either.
But at the same time, I feel like once they said Anarchy in the arena, I was like, okay, I mean, now it kind of makes sense because I know they like to do Anarchy in the arena at Double or Nothing. So it's like, it's a good one to do for Double or Nothing.
But here's my thing with this, though. If you're doing Anarchy in the arena with the Elite, that means no tag team title match at the pay-per-view and no continental title match at the pay-per-view. So those are 2 titles that will not be defended at the pay-per-view. So when Tony likes to do his 12, 13 match card, those are 2 title matches you're not getting. So does that mean instead of those 2 title matches, we're going to get 2 random don't matter matches? You know what I mean?
Probably.
So, well, go for it.
So you got the team. So you got the AEW World Title match. Right. Is it the international title that Roddy has?
Yes.
Yeah, they keep changing. I feel like I don't even know what
it was the all. It was the All Atlantic, and now it's the International.
The International. I assume they'll do Copeland versus Malachi Black at Double or Nothing.
I would think, but I mean, I thought they would have done that at the last pay-per-view.
And TBS, AEW Women's. So that'd be like 5 title matches, and maybe they do a trios match.
I would assume
For the trios belts?
something with Pac. Pac's now feuding with them all of a sudden after tonight.
So that's 6.
So far we have 5 matches announced and 4 title matches. So trying to think, because like you said, 6. Are there any other belts that they can do? No, that's about it. I doubt they do any Ring of Honor matches.
FTW?
Oh, you think we do another Hook Jericho? I wasn't. Should have been a collision match if I do say so. But Hook's coming back next week, so I don't know.
Maybe they do Hook versus Jericho at Double or Nothing.
Maybe.
They have Big Bill in Jericho's corner, and then Hook finds like Taz in his.
Well, I doubt that. Taz just had knee surgery. Taz took the worst bump than that 2 weeks ago or whatever.
Not Taz, but maybe. Who was the guy that always helped Hook when he was feuding with 2.0?
Oh, I have no clue. I don't even remember any of that. Was that a Rampage thing? That doesn't even sound familiar to me.
Or maybe Hook could like find somebody to like be in his corner.
Hopefully. Hey, you say they didn't do anything with Lance Archer. Get a big guy to combat Big Bill, Lance Archer.
But Lance Archer is a heel, though.
I don't know. They've used him as a babyface before. Once or twice. None of that matters in AEW. They just use people however they want to use them, even if it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So, Esports Gaming Rules says, everyone thought it was Motor City Machine Guns, free agents from TNA. I don't know where you got that from. I didn't see a single tweet or anybody online thinking Motor City Machine Guns. Like, I don't know where that's coming from. I didn't see anybody predicting Motor City Machine Guns. So, speaking of Double or Nothing, the AEW Women's World Championship will be on the line when Toni Storm defends against Serena Deeb. And Serena Deeb came out and got a promo that wasn't good. It just wasn't good. You can tell she's remembering lines. The crowd, like, stopped her up like 3 or 4 times. I don't know if she was like in her lines. It was pause for response, but then the crowd would do something and she'd go, yeah, all right. This was not good. Even when Toni Storm came out, I'm like, okay, Toni can save this. No, this just wasn't good at all. And the crowd, literally, the crowd was chanting for the Oilers during this segment. Let's go Oilers, while Serena Deeb was speaking. Shows you how much they care about this match. And this segment did nothing to get me more interested, and I'm zero interested, in this match. So Serena Deeb is out here on the stage. They got the crowd behind them, and she's talking about facing Toni Storm at Double or Nothing. She says, I've heard all the people. They say that I can't beat Toni Storm. Well, it's not that you can't beat Toni Storm. It's that nobody believes that they'll book you to beat her. They know that Toni's not losing to you. That's the thing. Anywho, Deeb said, losing at Double or Nothing is not an option. After several months ago, she made her return after being gone for 15 months, the hardest time in her life. Deeb had been suffering from 3 seizures, and she talked about how scary it was. And if true, damn, that sucks. But it's like, still, you're trying to get sympathy, and it just wasn't working. She said the vision is that she would come back to become the world champion. Toni Storm would come out, basically call her a pity party. She said, I thought I was coming out here to see my challenger, but it's more of a charity case. She then pulls out some money and throws it at Deeb and goes, here, take this. You might need this. And she throws some cash at her. Deeb said, this Storm better start caring, and she'll fight for her life to become the champion at Double or Nothing. Storm just said, yeah, I'm going to go right through you. I don't even care. I don't even see you as a challenger. You're nothing but shit to me, basically, is what she said. And so she tries to get into Serena Deeb's face. She tries to deck Serena Deeb. Serena Deeb blocks it and knocks her out with the right hand. And the crowd doesn't even react. They're chanting, let's go Oilers, as Serena Deeb knocks out Toni Storm. Toni takes a great bump on the ramp, sells it well, looks like she's dead. And again, they don't even care. And I don't even care about this match at the pay-per-view. There's a bunch of matches on this pay-per-view I don't care about, which is not a good thing. And I'm not the only one to say that. Dave Meltzer even said on last week's Wrestling Observer Radio after Dynamite that this show just feels like a bunch of matches thrown on one card. So when you got Dave, who early on was the biggest champion for AEW to become something, now saying that they don't have good stories building towards pay-per-views and a lot of their stuff is just too random, you know you're doing something wrong. So what did you think of this segment and the build for Serena Deeb and Toni Storm?
Kind of sucked, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, right now, they're basically just finding something for Toni to do before they do her and Mariah May stuff, which is probably going to happen eventually.
Which that stuff's odd, too, with the whole, Nina Shirakawa coming in and trying to, what's her thing? She's going to try and steal Mariah away from Toni? I don't even know.
She tried to kiss her, then, the crowd got bummed out when she didn't.
Yeah. Well, that's from 2 years ago. That was a whole TikTok trend where 2 girls would do a flirty thing and then they look like they're going to kiss and then they go, no. That's a TikTok trend from a couple years ago. But yeah, no. Most people that I saw online were like, I don't care about Serena Deeb and Toni Storm.
I don't either. I mean, Serena Deeb, she's not going to win.
No one believes it. Why? She's the professor. What does that even mean? I'm the professor. I have the Deeb dojo. So if you got a dojo, why don't you have trainees come into the ring with you? Why don't you have people that you're training at your dojo to make it actually seem more legit. Like, that's the other thing. Her gimmick makes no sense. She's the professor of the 1,000 holds. Who you professing? Who you teaching? You ain't got no students. So, yeah. Professor of 0, which makes it even worse. Just gonna say it.
Well, wouldn't you call yourself a sensei if you have a dojo?
Don't even get me started on that one.
Like, no, like, am I wrong?
No,
am I wrong?
You're not. Has anyone ever watched Cobra Kai? So, yeah, no. What do you want her to say?
Sensei Kreese? I mean, come on.
What do you want her to say?
Yeah, like,
the Deeb College? I'm the professor at the Deeb College?
no, like, if you have a dojo...
No, I know. You're not
you're
wrong.
The sensei.
Yes, you're 100% right. Anywho, Lexi Nair's backstage with Orange Cassidy. This is the whole Rocky part that we talked about earlier. Rocky storms in and was like, "Hey, how you doing? What's you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm fine, whatever." He's like, "So I talked to Tony Khan. I just got off the phone with him. He said if I could beat Jay White tonight, we can get a trios match, with the title on the line. We could find an opponent. Maybe get Chuck to come back out of retirement. We got Ishii, maybe Shibata." And Orange Cassidy's just like, "Okay, cool, good luck." Like, he didn't even care. Orange didn't even care. He's just like, "I got this Trent stuff to worry about." So, yeah, this is awkward. Like, why are you going to bring up Chuck when you literally just told it? Because literally, he says, maybe we get Chuck to come back. And Orange kind of looks at him wide-eyed and was like, I remember what I said last week. So, needless to say, though, that's a moot point anyways. Because let's play Jay White defeated Rocky Romero, so they ain't getting a trios title shot.
If they do defend the trios belts at Double or Nothing, who do you think they'll defend them against?
Random ass.
I have no clue.
Random ass trio. I hope it's not the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass again. We gotta get past that. But there's like no other trio.
Yeah, like when they first had the belts, they had all these trios. Now they have like no trios anymore.
Exactly. Well,
Like, whatever happened?
let me pull up the AEW roster really fast. I know we've got a couple, but it's like I think they've already, in the short amount of time that they've had these titles, they've already defended them like 2 or 3 times. Like, they already beat Action Andretti and Top Flight.
Top Flight.
Ooh. AEW has updated their roster page. They didn't have these 4 or 5 hours ago. Now they finally updated the Young Bucks photos to have them with the tag titles. I literally was on this page earlier it's more like 8 hours ago now. But this morning when I was doing the Double or Nothing preview video, I was on the roster page getting images, and they did not have pictures of the Young Bucks with the tag titles. Now they do. Anyways, as far as trios do go, I mean, you've got Shane Taylor Promotions. There's a trio. Action Andretti and Top Flight, but they've already beat them. The Acclaimed and Daddy Ass.
Dark Order.
Oh, Dark Order. Yeah, sure. That's a pay-per-view match. But yeah, Dark Order. Well, I mean, they teased the Pac stuff, so Death Triangle. But here's my interest. Here's the thing, though. Later on in the show, they asked Pac about, Death Triangle coming back. But Ray Phoenix is already injured again. Because Ray Phoenix was supposed to fight Pentagon for Hog Wrestling last weekend, and Penta had to come out in front of the crowd and say, "Hey, Phoenix ain't cleared, we can't do the match." So Phoenix came back, did one AEW match, and is injured again. But then they talked tonight like he's not. So I don't know what's going on with that. So the tease was Death Triangle. Because Pac twice now had a run-in with them on this show. But looking at other teams, we've got the Embassy, Brian Cage. And
Faction.
Wait, what?
The Faction, Roosh, Preston Vance, and Dralistico.
Oh, yeah. Trying to see. Yeah, there's not really as many trios as they once had. Like, they had enough to do a whole trios tournament. Now they really don't. I mean, you could pull guys from Ring of Honor if you wanted, but then it's like no one knows about them. I mean, you've got Don Callis family, Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, And well, Ospreay's already got a match for the pay-per-view, but yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's just
Honestly,
no other trio that seems viable other than Death Triangle. But as of last weekend, Phoenix wasn't even cleared.
honestly, if Wheeler Yuta wasn't injured, you could have done the BCC.
Yeah. Or if Christian wasn't fighting Swerve, you could do the Patriarchy.
Or Undisputed Kingdom.
True. But Roddy's got a match. But Roddy's already got a match for the pay-per-view.
Could have done Wardlow.
Oh, yeah. You still could. But again, that's not the tease they did tonight. But yeah, Wardlow and the Kingdom would make sense. I always forget Wardlow's in that group because like some weeks he's there and some weeks he's not. And then randomly today they dropped a new Wardlow T-shirt and I'm like, oh, cool. But yeah, it's like they have no credible trios, to be honest. You still got Peter Avalon on the roster. When's the last time we've seen Peter Avalon?
He's probably just like a producer now or something.
I don't know. Nick Camarado's still on here too.
They took Ethan Page off.
Well, Ethan Page is done. He posted the video, which they screwed him. They should not have let him go. He's over here selling more action figures than anybody, and then they say you gotta go. Okay, but I think it was like a unified thing as well. More of like he was ready to go. I think it's like they mutually agreed to part ways, kind of. But he was just upset the way that he was, drawing money for the company with the pre-orders from his action figure and everything, and they just weren't using them. He's like, I haven't been on TV in months, and I'm still selling more action figures than anybody. Which is crazy.
I think he should go to TNA and reunite with Josh Alexander.
That's what I said. That would be a great call. I mean, he'd also be perfect for NXT.
He would, but honestly, have him compete for the NXT championship.
Yes. I think he would be someone that would be perfect in NXT.
I think Ethan Page is probably just one of those guys where he probably just prefers being on the indies. So I'd say if that's the case,
well, because
go to TNA and reunite with Josh Alexander.
He also owns his own promotion, and if he goes to WWE, he wouldn't be running Alpha One.
Right.
So, moving forward, we had Brian May versus Harley Cameron. This match was actually better than I expected. But the setup for this match was weird. Because last week, just randomly, Saraya and Harley Cameron come on screen, and they're just like, we want to fight that hot chick. And then we didn't know if they were talking about Tony or Mariah. And then like, Mariah May, I'll see you next week. And I'm like, oh, okay. So the way this match got put together was awkward and weird. But I will say, it's actually way better than I expected. So Don Callis comes back out for commentary. He mentioned Kenny Omega, and he hopes he never comes back. And they also tell us, this ain't Harley Cameron's first match. She's had some Rampage matches. She's wrestled on Collision, but this is her Dynamite debut. The first time she's wrestled on a Wednesday. So Harley Cameron attacks early. She goes for a series of kicks and hits a Shining Wizard for a 2. Cameron continued to mock Mariah May, who fought back with an overhead corner chop and a forearm. There's a side slam that led to a shotgun drop kick as Cameron scurried to the apron. Then they kept showing, this was kind of distracting, they kept showing Saraya arguing with these guys at ringside. And she said, she yelled at one point something about like they don't like women or they're scared of women or I don't know. But she was arguing with these random guys sitting in the front row, and they kept cutting to her yelling at these guys. So I don't know what that was all about. But anyways, Cameron suckered Mariah in with a high kick and dragged her to the floor, where she was beaten up by Saraya as things went to the break. Back from the break, Saraya was trash-talking the fans, like I stated, as May and Cameron collided in the ring. They kind of like reset everything here as we come back. They slugged it out with May winning the exchange, and she cut off Cameron with the clothesline. May then answers with a charge of her own and a choke bomb for a 2. May then fires back up with the headbutt and followed it with a top rope drop kick, which set the stage for a Sweet Cheek music attempt, but Saraya pulled Cameron out of the ring at the last second. May then went out and leveled Saraya, and we go back inside, and there was like almost a flash cradle pin, but then she kicked out. May then popped up, hit the Mayday, and got the victory. So Mariah May does get the win. Post-match, Saraya and Cameron double team on Mariah May until not Toni Storm, but Mina Shirakawa actually runs out to make the save. Saraya then threw Cameron in front of her. She takes the spinning kick, and then the two disappear. They go away. This then leads to Shirakawa hugging Mariah May, faking a kiss, as you mentioned earlier, and then them grabbing champagne and drinking the champagne. Again, I'm not someone that really followed Stardom. I've watched Stardom in the past, but I never kept up with storylines. Basically, someone was like, you gotta watch the Stardom show. There's really good matches on this show. So I watched the show. But I don't keep up with any of the storylines. I know these two women were in a faction together, but that's the most of my knowledge of what this is. They were friends in Stardom. But what is this leading to? What is this supposed to be? I have no clue. What'd you think of all this?
I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I don't really know anyone from Stardom. Like, I don't know anyone from there.
I mean, it's understandable.
Because like even when Dave Meltzer does like his like top 10 like best female this year, and you'll see like a Stardom wrestler on there, like I don't know who they are.
Yeah, like when you get the PW Insider top 150 or whatever it is.
I think one year, I don't know if it was like last year or the year before. It might have been last year. Or I think it was Stardom wrestler was like number 1. It might have been the year before.
I don't remember. I think you're right though. I mean, everyone knows who Julia is, but it's like most fans now only know who she is because she's coming into WWE. They really didn't know much of her. Like for me, I've noticed more fans talk about Julia since the WWE rumors came up. So it's like, yeah, the U.S. audience, there is a fan base in the U.S. for Stardom, but I feel like it's not as big as AEW thinks it is. And so they're bringing in these Stardom women, and granted, a lot of them are getting good reactions, but it could be even bigger if the casual U.S. fan knew who they were. You know what I mean? And I could be wrong on that. I could be wrong on that. But I just feel like at least the people I know and talk to don't really follow or know anything Stardom. Like I said, even myself, I don't follow the storylines or anything, but when someone tells me that was a good Stardom show, you need to go check it out, I'll go check it out. Just lay down, you rewind about 25-30 minutes and you hear us talk about the Kenny Omega announcement. Let's send it to the back. Pac is doing his woe is me gimmick again like he did in WWE. Remember that? When Pac would have like the hair all down in his face and he was all, what's the word I'm looking for? Depressed. He's doing that again.
So like when he was a cruiserweight in WWE?
Yeah. He literally was doing the same thing tonight like he was doing then.
I feel like he always did that in AEW sometimes.
Well, no. This felt way more like the time he did it in WWE, where he was just like the hair in his face and all like disheveled and messy and like I don't care about anything. I don't know. I get what you're saying, but I remember there was that time where he was depressed in WWE, and that's how he came off tonight.
I wouldn't say he was like depressed. I think that was just his gimmick though. Or
That's what I meant.
He was supposed to be like evil. I thought he was supposed to be like evil though. Like
Maybe that's what it is.
like, I wouldn't say depressed because that was really like never his.
True.
Because I remember looking back at it, it wasn't necessarily depression. It was more just so like that was supposed to be like evil or something.
Maybe because to me, he always came off when he was doing that thing. It always came off as like a guy that was down in the dumps. Woe is me. You know what I mean? Maybe depressed is too strong of a word.
I mean, because I remember like his gimmick. He was the heel when he was a cruiserweight.
Mm.
But I thought when he did like hide behind the hair, that was supposed to be like some evil thing.
Maybe. So
he never really like said anything about being depressed or something.
Right. It's just that's how I took it. To be honest, that's how I interpreted the gimmick. Anyways, Pac was asked about Death Triangle, maybe reuniting soon, and that's when I go, wait, reuniting soon? I Thought Phoenix was hurt again. Anywho, Pac's delayed response really wasn't a response. And he was concerned at the moment with Death Triangle when all of a sudden Switchblade and the Guns would interrupt. They mocked Pac for losing to Okada Dynasty. And JY goes, if anyone knows about beating Okada, it's me. Maybe I should go take that international title from him and bring some more gold to the Bang Bang Gang. He said, I just got to go beat Rocky Romero first. They then told Pac to have fun with his new friends and walked away. So that basically set up Pac coming out later after the Rocky Romero match. But yeah, I think it's going to be the Bang Bang Gang, Bullet Club Gold against the Death Triangle at the pay-per-view for the trios titles.
I think it'll be a good match.
Oh yeah, if Phoenix is healthy, that should be a really good match. Because you don't want
I missed that.
You don't want
Death Triangle.
So do I. You don't want Death Triangle going out there and it's like Phoenix does nothing and it's just Penta and Pac the whole time. It's just weird because Phoenix came back unannounced, did a random collision match, and then the next weekend he's supposed to fight Penta at Hog, and Penta has to come out and go, oh, my brother's not cleared, we're not doing the match. So I don't know what's going on with Penta. Or Phoenix.
Well, I know Tony Khan always encourages wrestlers to wrestle even though they're not 100%.
Now, there's a difference between that. Because I've been saying that a lot recently. Someone reached out to me and was like, there's a difference. If somebody is hurt, but still medically can go, that's when Tony does the whole, oh, you're good enough. But if they're super deemed, no, not medically cleared, then that's when AEW is going to be like, no, you're 100% not cleared. You can't go. But if someone's hurt, but can still go, that's when they go, oh, you're fine. You're still cleared to go, so you're going to go. That's the whole thing. That's what it is. So, and that's the thing, though. Penta said he's medically not cleared. So that's where I'm a little confused. They literally wrestled like a week before that on Collision. So Malachi had a video, Malachi Black, airing about his feud with Adam Copeland. Black said that Copeland was so pivotal into this industry, but started becoming painfully aware of his own mortality. He gave up everything to have a wife and a child. Actually, he's got 2 childs, but needs to be reminded of who he really was. Not the father or the champion he believes he is, but the cold-hearted son of a bitch that Black must remind Copeland that he is. So Copeland can truly live again. Okay? It was an interesting one. Again, like you said earlier, you think it's going to be, and I think it's going to be, Copeland and Malachi at the pay-per-view. But then randomly, they're doing Copeland and O'Reilly Saturday. So, okay.
Maybe have Copeland retain clean over O'Reilly. And then after the match, Malachi Black attacks Copeland and says, I want you at Double or Nothing.
Which can also set up a tag match, Copeland and O'Reilly versus Matthews and King for like a Dynamite.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they'll have a good match. I think Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Copeland could be a good match. It's just so random. And literally, I guess we'll just talk about it now. Copeland never said, I'm doing a Cope Open on Saturday. And O'Reilly's just like, hey, you want to give me a title shot? Cope Open? It's like, put me on the spot here, bud. What am I going to say? No? So, I don't know. Going forward, there's a video package about the visionary pioneers of AEW, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson. They were shown fighting the good fight, changing the world. Cut to the Bucks backstage, saying whoever put that together deserves a raise, as they need more of that instead of, Kenny Omega. They were handed a piece of paper and they said, oh, up next is AEW champion Swerve Strickland. They go, hey, Swerve, you're right there. Go, have a good time. Yeah, good luck, buddy. And then they show Swerve and he rolls his eyes. So Swerve comes down to the ring. Huh?
I don't remember them showing Swerve.
I thought they did. Maybe I made that up. I don't know.
No, I don't think they did. No.
Oh, no. They rolled their eyes like, good luck, Swerve. And then they rolled their eyes. I thought I wrote it wrong. That's what it was. I wrote it wrong. I wrote he, but it was them, now that I think about it. You're right. So Swerve comes out, no Prince Nana, which kind of plays into what happens later. I read that as, could that be something? But then I didn't think about it. For like 2 seconds, I thought, no Prince Nana, what does that mean? And then I literally it skipped my mind after that. I was like, for 2 seconds, I thought it could be something, and then literally I forgot no Prince Nana. Because literally he does the dance and kind of disappears in the background anyways. So like once Swerve got to the ring, I was just like, okay, cool. No Prince Nana. Okay, whatever. So we see footage from last week. Patriarchy attacking Swerve. They ripped out one of his dreadlocks and all that. And so Swerve talks about it. Swerve kind of just says some stuff. Said that he's the Connor McDavid of all elite wrestling. I don't know what the hell that means. Who's Connor McDavid? Do you know?
Never heard of him.
Swerve made like 4 or 5 references that whoosh, right over my head. He made some like Drake rapper references that I didn't understand.
Oh, Connor McDavid. I think, I don't know if he's a current.
Is he a hockey player? Because the crowd popped when they said his name. Because the crowd popped when they said his name.
He plays for the Oilers, yeah.
Okay. That's what I was going to ask, if you knew if he was a hockey player. Because he's like, I'm a Connor McDavid of all elite wrestling. And the crowd kind of popped. So I'm like, he a hockey player? And then
he's a hockey player.
And then he said, Christian, come out here. Christian comes out. And he takes a jab at the Oilers. He says he's going to watch them lose in a couple of hours. Before telling Strickland that last week was by design. As every week, Cage will take something from Strickland until finally taking the world title. Cage said that Strickland has been riding a wave of momentum, but waves crash till they fall. They'll fall at Christian's feet. Cage deserves to stand at the top of the mountain as world champion when Swerve's house is foreclosed on. I actually like that line. All Strickland will be able to do is see his stupid gold teeth, unless Cage takes them as well. And I'm just like, why should we care about Christian Cage challenging for the world title when the last time we saw this guy before last week, he lost the TNT title to Adam Copeland? So I still don't know why we should care about this match, because I don't. I think it'll be a good match, but you need more than just those two will have a good match. What did Gunther say on Monday? Not to compare this to WWE. I don't care about bangers. I don't care about star ratings. I just care about going out there, beating ass, and getting wins. So when you're booking matches because they're going to be good matches, no. You want wrestlers that care about winning matches. And I get it. Christian wants the world title, but it just doesn't make any sense. Anywho, Strickland said that told you I wasn't coming alone, and I'm not alone when the Mogul Embassy jump in the ring. He then told Cage to get in the ring so he can beat his ass like Kendrick did to Drake. Again, over my head. Strickland said that Cage made it where he was by playing the political game, while Strickland busted his ass. He then said something about someone from the West Coast beating a Toronto dad. Again, another right over the top of my head. I didn't get that one at all either. You know what that one meant? Because I don't. Yeah. He said something about someone from the West Coast beating a Toronto dad or something like that. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. Cage.
I don't get it either.
Cage was then about to respond, and he's like, and Excalibur makes a reference of, oh, he's stopped Cage in his tracks. We never hear Cage have nothing to say. That's when Brian Cage, the other Cage, attacks from behind, knocks down Swerve, and then the rest of the embassy also attack. So they clear off the announce table. They bring the steps over. They give him the power bomb through the table, and Christian laughs in enjoyment as Swerve is laid out on the announce table. So we'll finish this up really fast. We go to the back, and Christian walks up to the Young Bucks, shakes their hands, says it was great conducting business with them. He can't wait to do more, as they had a great idea here. So we're to think that this was all the idea of the elite, the Young Bucks. Matthew questioned if that would have been considered another bitch move, going back to Strickland's comments from the last couple of weeks. So it's like, I kind of get why the Elite are mad at Swerve, but it also doesn't really make sense because why does Swerve care about what they did to Tony Khan anyways? Like, I don't know. If Swerve cared that much, then shouldn't he be on Team AEW against the Elite? It's just kind of weird and kind of just like, it feels all thrown together without any kind of like thought process put into it. What'd you think of all of this? No more Mogul Embassy. Just the embassy.
Not gonna lie, I kind of saw it coming.
Yeah, I didn't.
I did.
You're more observant than I am.
Well, the way they had Brian Cage just standing behind Swerve and kept looking at him,
like Seth Rollins and The Shield.
Yeah, I was like, oh, they're gonna turn on Swerve. I mean, plus I didn't really think they really need to be a thing anyway, because I never see them all four of them together anyway.
They don't. Like, they did a little bit early on, but then like it's weird because like Nana will come out with Swerve, but none of the other ones. And then when Nana comes out with them, they're just the embassy. So yeah.
There's really no need for it anyway.
Nope. Arcadia Aura's backstage with Willow Nightingale. She said, "How you feeling after your match last week, the Manitoba Massacre?" She goes, "All things considered, the shiner and whatnot, pretty good because you can't knock the smile off my face." She said, Double or Nothing, she's going to take on Mercedes Moné, and she is ready for Dynamite, Rampage, Collision, and any challenger that comes. And I talked about this last week. If you got a title match set up, why is the champion defending the title against other people? It just doesn't really make that much sense to me. If a champion is set for a title defense, why are you going out there and defending against others? Because, and not the whole, oh, you're getting beat up while your opponent's not wrestling. Not even that. It's just the fact of the booking makes no sense. Why are you booking title matches that we know are not going to be a title change? Nobody, zero, expected Sky Blue to win last week because the match at the pay-per-view is Willow and Mercedes. So if they announce another Willow TBS title shot or title defense before Double or Nothing, who's going to think Willow is losing? So then why would you care about that match? And maybe that is why over 200,000 people tuned out after Dynamite last week, because they go, oh, Willow defending against Sky Blue in the main event for the title? Well, we know Willow's winning, so I don't got to watch. You know? It's just, the booking makes no sense because people are not going to want to watch a title match that they know for a fact the champion is not losing. Am I wrong?
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. You're not.
So she also talks about how, go for it.
Honestly, like how I view it is just probably just Tony trying to get like more people to watch. Like, oh, it's a title match, so you have
That's
to watch.
exactly what it is. Yep. But then it's like, okay, well, when's the title ain't going to change? Because typically in AEW, if a title match is already announced and they do all these other random title matches, the champion's not losing. I don't remember the last time that this has happened, that pay-per-view title match was announced, champion defends, champion loses. I don't know if that's ever happened. Maybe once. I don't even think so. Not that I can remember. But Willow brings up the fact that she's TBS champion. She's won the Strong title. She's a former Owen Cup winner. And I go, hold on. No Owen Cup this year? But then I got reminded on Twitter, last year's Owen Cup, because I was thinking Double or Nothing for the Owen Cup. Last year's Owen Cup started at Forbidden Door, so we still got time for that. Anywho, she just says that, you know, she's ready to fight Mercedes and have the fight of her life. So it's like, Willow kind of keeps me interested, but as soon as Mercedes opens her mouth like she did later, I again don't care about this match. What's your hype level for Mercedes and Willow at the pay-per-view?
I like the storyline.
There's a built-in story, yes.
But I do feel like Mercedes will probably just win just because it's her first match.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know if I really like that.
Right. My whole thing is like, there is the built-in storyline, so they don't even have to think of anything. They don't have to really book it. But it also feels a little lazy. You know? Like Mercedes got attacked in the dark. The next week, the only follow-up was it actually you, Willow? And you wanted me to think it was Julia, and then nothing again. Like we never got a resolution from that. Well, I don't even know. Again, it all feels a little lazy because they have the built-in storyline.
Like, let's say, for example, like they want to take the belt off Mercedes and put it on someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is Mercedes going to be okay with that, or is she going to start complaining that she doesn't get like a lengthy title reign?
We'll see. I've had that thought about since the moment they announced she was coming to AEW. My whole thought is, all right, let's see when she finally doesn't get her way, what happens. Because twice in WWE, she ran away. Moving forward, we had Switchblade Jay White defeating Rocky Romero. Early on, there was some trash talking that resulted in a flash pin from Romero, but only got 2 off of it. Romero then suckered White in and chased him to the floor, where Romero hit a drop kick through the ropes and followed up with a dive. Back inside the ring, White cut off Romero with a locomotion lariat, followed that up with some more stuff, and then turned Romero inside out with another lariat as we go to commercial break. We come back, and Rocky mounted a comeback, hit a suplex and a springboard DDT, springboard spinning DDT. The two are fighting. There was a sliced bread attempt by Romero as well, but White almost caught a Blade Runner, only for Romero to spin out into another close 2. Finally does hit the Blade Runner. White then goes for the pin and gets the victory after hitting a Bloody Sunday and a Blade Runner on Rocky. Post-match, the Guns pounce, attack Rocky, Pac runs out, and they run away. What do you think of the match and essentially the build-up for the Bang Bang Gang, Bullet Club Gold, defending those trios titles against the Death Triangle?
I kind of want to defend against Death Triangle because I miss Death Triangle.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I kind of knew that Rocky Romero wasn't going to win.
Right?
I mean, do you think Death Triangle would win against the Bang Bang Gang?
That's a tough one because I do think they could win, but I don't know if you take the titles off of them this soon because they just unified the titles. So you keep them on them. You want them to seem strong, but at the same time, it's like, I would give it. All right, now I'm sitting at 50-50, but I'd maybe even go 55 for Death Triangle. Now it all depends how Phoenix is. If Phoenix is 100% cleared, good to go, then yeah, put the titles on Death Triangle. But if there's even a doubt about Phoenix, don't change the titles.
I mean, it would really suck for Jay White, though, if they did drop the belts.
Unless it could lead to them pushing Jay White into a singles title feud. Maybe have him fight for that international title. Or he teased wanting to go after Okada in the Continental. So you could set up Jay White and Okada for a title off of this.
I'll believe it when I see it. That's all I got to say to that.
True.
Because they've been using Jay White as a singles guy pretty bad lately.
Yeah.
They had that terrible feud with him and MJF, which really hurt him
where
a
he
lot.
Stole the belt and the dumbass boss never made him give it back. Like, what? That whole feud was kind of weird.
Then they made him lose to like a hurt MJF.
That too. Yep. So, moving forward, we got a cool little training video of Samoa Joe, which made me want to see Samoa Joe versus Bryan Danielson in just a striking battle, just a technical wrestling match. I'm like, oh, please, give me Joe and Bryan.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, do you think Joe will have a singles match at Double or Nothing?
Against who, though? Like, I could see them wanting Joe on the card, but I have no clue who he would face. And there's only 2 weeks to set stuff up. You know, you have 3 collisions and 2 more Dynamites.
Maybe you do something on Collision or something.
Maybe. I don't know
Maybe
against who.
Kyle O'Reilly, maybe?
So is Joe a babyface or a heel? Because this felt like a babyface training video. You know what I mean?
Right.
It didn't feel like a heel. The way he was training and he was like, you know, wanting to get back and get... Because it came off as a guy who was training to make a comeback to get better. The heel doesn't need to train to get better. The heel just comes back and wants to beat ass, you know? Usually a heel, or usually it's the babyface who says, I lost. I need to get better. I need to train and hone my craft. Where the heel's usually like, I lost. Who can I beat up next to redeem myself, you know? So to me, it sort of came off babyface, even just a little.
I'm looking at the roster right now.
Yeah, I will say, Samoa Joe has been their big show where they have switched him from babyface to heel a number of times already. Granted, he's been more heel than not, but he's switched back and forth quite a few times already. He's their Paul White big show. As far as like whenever they need him to be, he's going to be that week.
Oh, God. What if it's him versus Chris Jericho for the FTW belt?
You said Hook might need somebody in his corner. Someone big to go against Big Bill.
Oh, God.
Joe's got a history with Taz.
He does?
In TNA.
Oh.
Yeah, from back.
I didn't really watch
Yeah.
I didn't really watch like the early 2000s TNA.
Yeah. There's some stuff. Taz and Samoa Joe from back in the day.
Only stuff that I really remember from like from that. I mean, I remember most of the tag teams. I remember the Jeff Hardy thing with Sting in 2011.
Well, because I remember a
And
couple of times like Taz would accompany Joe to the ring.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah. And maybe it was only once, but I know it's happened in TNA where Taz, like, I wouldn't say he was the manager of Joe, but like he came down to the ring with him. So, I mean, it was a thing, at least for a short bit.
I almost said Joe versus Roddy, but Roddy's facing Ospreay,
Yeah.
which I don't get that match at all.
So apparently, and I didn't see this, Ospreay won some random ass casino gauntlet match that I didn't see, and people said was so confusing. It was like it's like a casino battle royal or casino ladder match where people randomly come out, and as soon as somebody gets a pinfall, they're the winner. So not everybody even gets to come out, and so it's like you do casino style because then there's the Joker that nobody knows, but nobody knew anybody in the match anyways. And yeah, I heard the match was a big old clusterfuck. Excuse me.
Like, do you think Ospreay would actually beat Roddy then?
I hope. But I don't want to see him with the international title. I'd rather him have no title. I'd rather him have no title and build him up for the world title eventually than the international. Unless you're going to merge the international and world titles. Because you don't you don't need both the international and the continental. So maybe Ospreay wins the international. Whoever's the champion at All In faces Ospreay in a unification match where you go, you put your title on the line and I'll put my title on the line in the main event of All In. And it's a double title unification match. And that way you get rid of one of the mid-card men's belts. Because they have too many mid-card. Huh?
So you won, what was that tournament that they did last year?
Continental Classic?
So yeah, you wouldn't do like a Continental Classic type thing?
Well, no, you're going to do that again in the winter for a shot at becoming the Continental Champion. So like this is for All In. I say you merge because we already see the Continental title is supposed to be basically the same thing as the international title. So why not get rid of the international title? Because at least the Continental title has a reason to be there because of the tournament. So get rid of the international title. It was just like in WWE. Why did they need the Intercontinental and the European? They really didn't. So get rid of the international title. I'm merging it with the world title, and there you go. You only need the one men's mid-card title. But it's just my opinion, though. As we move forward, we had a tag team match. It was the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho, against, as he calls them, the Big Redwood, Big Bill. Took on two random guys. Mo Jabari, I think they said, and Harlan Abbott. Two guys I've never seen before. But Jericho acted like a 1980s super smiley babyface as he started the match with Jabari. But then he tagged in Bill pretty quickly, who delivered a series of corner splashes, big boot, boss man slam, 2 choke slams. Jericho then tagged in, hit the Judas effect on Abbott, and picked up the victory. Quick win for the Jericho Vortex, because that's the new name of their group. Jericho's got to have a new name every time, and this one's the Jericho Vortex. The post-match, this match was all about the post-match. Jericho thanked the crowd and faked mixing up Edmonton for Calgary. This was sucky. He goes, "Thank you, Calgary, Edmonton." I'm sorry, I've been so many places over the years, I keep forgetting where I'm at. I'm like, shut up, you ain't our truth. He says that he wishes he could be on Dynamite all 2 hours of the show because everyone loves to see him. He said that he is here with the Big Redwood, who is taking pointers from the learning tree. Jericho also thanks Shibata for their great match last week, and he names all the different things they did in the match and says, "We were the highest rated match on Cage Match last week, and our segment did great in the ratings." Jericho then thanked Hook, who hit himself in the face with the baseball bat at Dynasty. Jericho was cut off by Tony Schiavone. Schiavone's like, "Hey, Chris, I got to tell you something. I just got word from Tony Khan. And Tony Khan let me know that Hook will be returning next week." And the crowd goes, "Man." There's barely a reaction. And then Jericho's like, "Cool, Hook. Bye. See ya." And I'm just like, yeah, this ain't working at all. I get it. The gimmick is that the fans hate him, so he's going to keep playing up that he thinks the fans love him. That's the gimmick. He thinks the fans love him when they hate him, and he thinks they want to see him all the time when they don't want to see him. So, yeah. He's playing a heel that thinks he's everybody's hot beloved babyface. So, yeah, it's a weird gimmick. I understand it. I get it. It's just, I feel like not working. And not working in the way of it's not supposed to work. It's not working in the way of it's just people don't like it at all. What are your thoughts on all this?
I mean, yeah, I'm not really a big fan of it. Like, yeah, I just don't care for it.
So this then leads us to our main event. And I feel like we are getting too many no DQ matches in AEW. We technically had 2 last week on the show. And then we had another one tonight. Well, 2 when one on Dynamite and one on the Rampage. Then we had this one again tonight. Now, granted, this one was really fun. I thought this match ruled. I thought this was a really, really, really good match. But it's like, I think AEW is going to the well a little too much with all the hardcore stuff and the weapons. To the point where I say that sometimes they remind me of WCW. Well, there's also times when they remind me of, oh, Tony Khan loved ECW as a kid, so he wants his company to have an ECW feel to it. And he's just trying to do too much. I feel like AEW doesn't have its own identity, really. There are times when it tries to do WWE style, then it tries to do the WCW style, then it tries to do the ECW style, and sometimes that's all within a 2-hour show that just everything gets muddled together. And I'll read a tweet right here from Mike Straw that kind of encapsulated how a lot of people are feeling about this. Let me find it really fast. Mike Straw really had a good tweet about all of this tonight. He said, so I sent out a tweet. First, he sent out a tweet that said, Okada, Ospreay, Mercedes, none of them are seemingly the draw AEW thought they'd be. Love them, love all of them, but man, everything just seems to be in the shitter right now. I then commented and said, Mercedes cutting a promo after that main event shut down the crowd. He then responds with a great tweet that states, the placement of everything on tonight's show made no sense. Also, why did we need 3 heel beatdown angles? Again, they're trying to do too much on one single show. And it's not just me thinking that, it's others as well. I don't know, you're thinking of, they're trying to be more than they should be. There's AEW did have an identity in the past where it was like, you know, they were doing their own thing. They felt new and fresh. They had their own roster that we hadn't really seen before. Guys that, yeah, if you really paid attention to the indies, you've seen these guys before. But the casual fan, these are all new people, and they're getting to see these guys for the first time, and it's cool. But now they're bringing in so many former WWE guys. They're bringing in so many, like, they got so many people that feel stale in just 5 years. And so they're trying to throw too much at the wall to see what sticks. And they feel like it's just too much at once. What are your thoughts on all that?
I mean, you're not wrong, because so like when AEW first started, they like started out with like guys who were like well known on the indies, but just needed like a place to sign.
Right.
And then I'd say like in a year, they started bringing like so many former like WWE guys, where it started to be known as like, oh, all they're doing is just bringing like former WWE guys.
Again, WCW. Like it was fine at first. I mean, like it was fine at first, and they had Jericho, Moxley, Cody, Shawn Spears, and Dustin. You have a handful. Say you've got 40 guys on the roster, and maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 of them are former WWE guys. But now it's like half of the roster was in WWE.
I mean, at least like half of them, they were well known on the indies before they got to WWE. Like Bryan Danielson, for example, like he was probably the best wrestler on the indies before he signed to WWE.
100%.
Like Malachi Black, he was pretty well known on the indies before he went to WWE. Adam Cole, like I don't know if he was the best wrestler on the indies before he signed with WWE, but he was one of.
Yes. Because he was in that PWG era where it's like they had El Generico, Sami Zayn, Kevin Steen, Kevin Owens, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish. Like they were all just great. There was a lot of the ROH guys were the best. Like the time before Adam Cole and them came to WWE, it was when ROH had the best non-WWE roster, basically.
Which I will say, Adam Cole, he's an exception because at least he had history with like the Young Bucks and stuff. So like he had that like elite history and stuff. So like he's an exception.
But it's like, let me do some math really fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, 105, 110, 115, 120. There are 121 male wrestlers listed on the AEW roster page. 121. And when I look at this, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I'm not counting Killswitch, even though he was in WWE. No one remembers that. Not counting Okada, even though he had a short stint in WWE. 21, 22. Should I count Lance Archer? Because he, in like the mid 2000s, had a run on SmackDown. Him and Trent.
No, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't count either of them?
I'd count Trent.
23.
At least Trent lasted a while.
True. 24. Would you count Mike Bennett? I feel like he was in WWE.
Yeah, I would.
Okay. 25, 26, 27. Well, okay. We're counting 120 because Brody Lee don't count. Because Brody Lee, actually 119 because they got Brody Lee Jr. on here too. 28.
They still got Sting on the roster.
True. 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. So of the 121 listed here, 34, 35 of them are all former WWE guys. That's just from the men's roster. What's the
I
percentage?
wonder what it's
on
like for the women.
Well, let's look
What
at it.
it's like
What's
for
the
the
percentage?
women's.
So 34 divided by 121. That's 28% of their roster are former WWE guys for the men's. As far as the women's do go, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 36, 37, 38. Former WWE, 1, 2. That's many. 3, 4.
Would you count Taya Valkyrie?
No. 5,
Yeah.
6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 of the, how many did I say? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 41, 42, 43. 20% of their women's roster are former WWE wrestlers as well. And that's counting Serena Deeb, even though the only thing she really did in WWE was shave her head for CM Punk.
She did that, and
Oh,
I think
and she was
did
a
the Mae
coach. She did the Mae Young Classic, and she was an NXT coach.
Yeah.
But yeah. So 28% of their men's roster and 20% of their women's roster are former WWE wrestlers.
Didn't she also like wrestle for a little bit?
I don't remember, to be honest. I can look. Serena Deeb cage match. Let's see. How many matches did she do for WWE on that run? She may have. Let's see.
I know she teamed with Luke Gallows to take on Big Show and Kelly.
Well, yeah, back in the day, she wrestled for WWE. Yeah. I thought you meant like recent.
Recent? No.
Yeah, no. But yeah, back in the day when they were doing Straight Edge Society, yeah, she had some matches. Let me see. Her last WWE match was 2017. That was the 2 Mae Young Classic matches. And she didn't do anything else for WWE going all the way back to 2010, where she did 3 matches. That mixed tag that you mentioned, and then 2 tag team matches where it was her and Layla against Kelly and Natty. So yeah, she's literally only wrestled 5 matches in WWE. Now, OVW, that's a different story. When she was signed in OVW, she was working matches there. Number of matches.
I don't really remember this, but how the heck did they like bring her into the Straight Edge Society? They just like bring her from the crowd, shave her head, and like, yeah, this is the new member.
Yes. So basically, CM Punk was in the ring, and he said, "Are there any people who would like to join my society? Who would like to start their lives over, basically, and pledge with me as their new leader or whatever?" And then she was in the crowd, and she's like, I would like to basically she wanted to be, basically he would say, who wants to be baptized? To be baptized, you must shave your head. And so she said, He brought her in the ring, and he shaved her head. And the whole thing of all that was he still had his long hair and wouldn't cut his hair, but his followers had to shave their heads. So Gallows was bald. She went bald. Yeah, that was the whole thing. In 2010.
Gallows already bald?
Yeah. I mean, when he was Festus, he had the crown hair. Basically, he was just like, yeah, I can't grow hair. I'm just going to shave it.
Yeah, then they did the whole thing where Ray cut his hair.
Yep. And he never grew it back out, which is interesting. Also, you see Seth Rollins from the Kentucky Derby? Looks like this man might have shaved his head.
Wait, what?
Hold on. You haven't seen this?
No, I didn't.
Hold on. We're pulling this up on the screen. I know we're getting off topic here. We're basically almost done with the show anyways. Now, it's hard to tell because Seth's wearing a hat, but this freaking guy looks bald. Or at least like he really, really cut his hair.
He ain't cutting his hair as long as he's still wrestling. He's not gonna cut his hair.
Well, hold
I don't
on.
think.
Look at this dang photo. Look at that photo.
He probably just got it in like a bun.
You think
for
it's
the hat?
a bun up in the hat? That's what I thought too.
That's what I think.
But
I don't
it's
think
like-
he shaved his head. It's probably just a
Got it
bun up
there.
in the hat.
So me and Baby Huey talked about this on the Backlash review, and he said if you notice, Seth will do the thing where he keeps the hair long, but he shaves the sides. So he could have done that here, and then the rest of the hair is up in the hat, like you say. But I mean, I don't know. Also, granted,
Yeah, it's just
he does think he's gonna. They do think he's gonna be gone for a while because he had knee surgery.
Yeah, he just had knee surgery. He's probably just gonna take some time off.
Grow the hair back, like cut it, and then let it grow back out. Oh, this is a great one. This is a great one. So you see him here, and then Danny DeVito is the dad from Matilda. That's a good one. Then he looks like Danny DeVito and Matilda with that jacket, the suit, and the hat. Oh, that's a good one.
I haven't seen that movie in forever.
Yeah, me neither. I watched it maybe a year ago with my daughter.
I don't think I watched the full movie, but I watched like so many clips of it where I understand the whole point of it.
Oh, Matilda's great. That's a great movie. I'd watch that any day.
I just don't really watch movies anymore, which I probably should.
Yeah, I watch them with the kids all the time.
Well,
Plus, I watch movies by myself.
I watched Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire, I think a few days ago.
Nice. I saw the movie twice in theaters.
That Spider-Man one?
Yep. Spider-Man No Way Home. Loved it.
No, not No Way Home. It was the
Oh, you mean like
2007 one
you
with
mean the
Tobey Maguire.
originals?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I love those movies too, though. And most people hate on those movies. I love the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, James Franco. And then you brought in I always forget his real name, but frickin' Eric Foreman. Is Eddie Brock in the third one?
Can't remember who played Green Goblin.
Oh, Green Goblin, that was William Dafoe. Great actor. Great actor.
I always preferred those over the. I couldn't really get over the. What was the other Spider-Man?
So there was the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. There's the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies. Amazing
Andrew
Spider-Man.
Garfield.
I thought those were okay. They're not my favorite, no. And then you have the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, which they're
I feel
right.
like the Tom Holland ones.
Go for it.
I feel like the Tom Holland ones are probably the better ones.
Yeah, and they're working on figuring out what they want the story to be for the next Tom Holland Spider-Man as well.
That movie's probably not going to come out for a while.
Well, it all depends on if it needs to come out before Secret Wars, or if it's going to be in the next phase, the mutant phase. Because if it's part of this current phase leading up to, Secret Wars, which I think it could be with, Peter Parker as one of the leaders going into, if they do Battle World. Because I think the new leaders can be like Peter Parker, Wolverine, and somebody else leading into Battle World, if you know that story. If they go the Battle World story. And so I think they may need to do one more Spider-Man here within the next 3 years.
Well, aren't they going to start filming the new Spider-Man one in like 2025?
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're working right now. The last word from a couple months ago is they're working right now on hashing out what they want the actual story to be. And they wanted the director or Sony or whatever wanted it to be a more grounded, what they call street level Spider-Man story with maybe Kingpin as the bad guy or something like on that level. And Marvel was like, no, we want another big grandiose Spider-Man story. So I don't know what route they're going. But also, I think there's a chance Tobey Maguire Spider-Man shows up in Deadpool and Wolverine. Just saying. They kind of teased it.
I thought the next Spider-Man was supposed to be like Tom Holland versus like Venom.
Oh, I don't know. They teased Venom. They teased the symbiote in this universe.
Well, yeah, because in the last Venom movie, they did the whole like thing at the end where he's like, "Where am I?"
Well, yeah, and then they did at the end of No Way Home. I believe it's not at the end of No Way Home, when they had like the symbiote come through one of the time portals or whatever, time travel portals. And so there's a symbiote in this universe now, the MCU universe.
Yeah.
So I could talk about that stuff for days, to be completely honest. I can nerd out on all that MCU stuff and whatnot. But yeah, no. Also, X-Men 97, if you're not watching it, oh my God, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for next week so then you just binge the whole thing? 10 episodes, and it's fantastic. And it's all apparently MCU canon that might just lead to whatever this storyline is for the X-Men in the MCU live action. I mean, the Marvels is so long ago, we could spoil it. Freaking Beast shows up in the post-credit scene. And it seems like the same Beast from the animated series. I won't spoil anything X-Men 97 because that season's not over yet. And I don't know who's watched and who hasn't watched. But anyways, main event. No DQ. A lot of people getting their ass beat. Well, two guys getting their ass beat. At one point, Brody King is busted wide open. He's bleeding everywhere. More than half of this mat is red. Like just red splotches all over because he's bleeding so much. Like every time he puts his head down, it's just gush, gush, gush. So at one point, Copeland sets up a table at ringside. He wanted a suplex, and King sent Copeland crashing to the floor instead. Kingston tried a suplex of his own, but Copeland caught him and fought out of it. King attempted the hanging sleeper in the corner, but Copeland rolled out of it, and both men rose and hit double clotheslines for a big double down spot. There's a big boot that led to a reset. Both men rose up again, and this led to King hitting a big lariat, but Copeland attempted a fireman's carry, only for King to collapse off the top rope into the corner, and then there was a cannonball for a 2. Copeland escaped a powerbomb attempt into a sit-out slam, wanted a spear, and King leapfrogged over him into a spike pile driver. That was really cool. Both men then rolled to the apron, where Copeland managed a Death Valley driver onto the corner of the ring. King then slowly recovered as Copeland charged at him, hit a spear through the ropes, did the WrestleMania 22 Mick Foley spot, minus Fire and Lita. He throws King back in the ring, goes for another spear, and pins him 1, 2, 3. Crowd pops. It's literally a minute left till the top of the hour, and I go, oh, match ended, perfect timing, go off the air. So I think the show is over. Before we keep going, what did you think of the match?
Oh, the match was pretty good.
I liked it a lot.
Do you feel like they keep treating like Brody King as like the leader of the House of Black, even though it's Malachi Black?
No, but I get where you can think that. It does make sense you saying that because we see him more than Malachi Black. So I do understand your reasoning there.
Because like anytime they do stuff with Julia, who's always in her corner?
Exactly.
Brody King.
That I haven't thought about that before, but you're making a lot of sense.
I feel like they make like Brody King as like the one guy who's always fighting, and they just have Malachi Black just like, and I feel like they only use Malachi Black as like when they have him fight for like the important stuff.
So here's the thing on that. There's the rumor that Malachi don't like to lose. Malachi don't like to be made to look bad. And so you throw Brody in there when you need a member of House of Black to just do whatever. There is that rumor. Malachi won't do the job.
I mean,
there's a rumor on Miro of the same thing, so I don't know. And it's not like just a random Twitter rumor. Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez have both said it multiple times. They don't like to do jobs. Like if they're going to lose, it's going to be for a reason. Other than that, they ain't losing. And Tony lets it happen. Tony allows it. That mentality.
Yeah, because Tony Khan doesn't like saying no to wrestlers.
Exactly. Like Mercedes Moné, who killed the crowd. But before that, Kyle O'Reilly comes out. It was randomly. So Brody King's dead, laying in the ring after that second spear, gets pinned 1, 2, 3, and then literally the match ends and he pops up and he attacks Copeland. All of a sudden, Copeland can't fight him off. So this made no sense. Adam Copeland just beat this man, and all of a sudden, he can't fight him off anymore. He needs help. Kyle O'Reilly comes out. They double team the heel. Literally, the heel gets double team beat up. And then they shake hands, and they go from there. And I think, okay, We got the little post match. Now the show's over. And this fucking show just keeps on going. We got Arcadia Aura in the back with Mercedes. I'm like, what? Are we seeing something that we're not supposed to? Are they filming shit that accidentally is airing? And she's like, 18 days, you make your in-ring debut for AEW. And then Mercedes is like, I can't wait for Double or Nothing. AEW is where the best wrestle. That line is super WCW. Anyways, she goes, and she thrives in the spotlight. Mercedes brings up sitting on the at court side for a Celtics game that will happen tomorrow. And she's also going to throw out the first pitch at a Red Sox game. Like, if you're not trying to be a heel, you're naming other cities' teams in this city. Like, what? Good thing she didn't name another hockey team. Then she'd really be a heel. Because I don't think Edmonton has a baseball. They don't have a baseball team. They don't have a basketball team, but still. Anywho. She says that she's ready for Double or Nothing. The only reason Willow has been so successful this past year is because she got hurt, and Willow made a name off of her being hurt. She then steals the Jade Cargill line and says that I'll be ready because I'm that bitch. And I go, well, you think you're Jade now? And then she says, we'll really find out why there's an asterisk next to Willow's title win in New Japan. She's going to wipe the stupid smile off of her face and take the title. But I'm like, okay, now the show is over. Nope. Damn show kept on going. We go to the back, and there's Kyle O'Reilly and freaking Adam Copeland with Lexi Nair. So she's like, Adam, how you feeling after that match? And Copeland's like, I want to thank Kyle for coming out and helping me. And I'm like, why'd you need the help? You just beat the guy, and all of a sudden you need help? Huh? And then Kyle just goes, so, can I ask you a question? And it just gets super awkward. And Copeland's like, what's up? He's like, Cope Open, Collision. Can I get a title shot? And Copeland's like, oh, the only reason you came out to help me was to get closer to this, the TNT Championship? And Kyle O'Reilly's just like, oh shit, he figured it out. And Copeland's like, you know what? Saturday, it's on. And so I said to myself again, all right, this show's over. They just need to build that last match. And granted, I forgot already about the Elite, Anarchy, and the Arena stuff. So I forgot that we still needed to name the other two opponents. That's how much that really played a factor to me. You know what I mean? And so I think the show's over. And then Excalibur's is like doing his sign off. And out comes the Young Bucks and the Elite. And Matthew, I don't want to be fined. Matthew Jackson comes out and he's like, hey, wait. This show don't end till we say it's over. And you haven't got the proper Elite stuff yet. And I'm like, oh, okay. So they all get in the ring. And he says, you know, the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada, he's got a message for Kenny Omega. And Okada says, the best bout machine wants to say, get well soon, Kenny. And he blows a kiss into the camera. Matt Jackson then tells Tony Khan, who is watching from home in Jacksonville, he's the best boss they've ever had. And if he only got his own way, he said he left the Bucks no choice. Or he said Tony Khan got in his own way, and it left them no choice but to give him the Tony Khan driver. Last week, Omega tried to get in the way, and they had to give him the EVP trigger. Nicholas and said the only reason, and this was not good by Nicholas, he felt like, I don't know, this was weird. He literally said, the only reason FTR came to help you is because they don't like us. I'm like, well, that was a weird delivery. Okay. He just says, but Anarchy in the Arena, if you wish, well, find two other partners because we accept. And I'm like, well, Kenny already said the match is official because he's an EVP and he made the match. So you don't have to accept. You're put in the match. FTR then come out. And they say, you know, we found two guys because Nick Jackson said you have to find two guys with big enough balls to face us. And so my first thought was, well, it ain't The Miz because he's got tiny balls. And so they come out and they go, yeah, we found two guys with big balls. And Dax is cutting this promo and Cash is going, big balls, big balls. And I'm trying not to laugh, but it's kind of funny the way Cash is going. And so they bring out the first one. It's Eddie Kingston, and he's going all crazy Tasmanian devil. And I'm like, all right, Eddie Kingston, awesome. He's got the intensity. He woke up the crowd a little bit. Then they say, we got one more man. And this man is all about AEW. And he's Team AEW. And the music of Bryan Danielson hits. And I'm getting flashbacks to, what is it, 2010? SummerSlam 2010, when it's the Nexus versus Team WWE, and they need one more partner. So out comes Bryan Danielson. Like, I'm getting WWE flashbacks here. They all come down to the ring. They get in each other's faces. Kingston's the first to swing, and they all brawl. Security breaks it up, and the show goes off the air. So we get these 3 extra random segments. What did you think of all this to close out the show? It's a lot. I just kept thinking, it's over. Nope, never mind. It's over. Nope, never mind. Now it's finally over. Kid Vicious, I know Miz isn't signed to AEW. It's a joke because of the tiny balls thing.
It was a lot to take in, but I kind of knew like it wasn't over after the Copeland stuff because they still had to announce like 2 more people for Team AEW.
But like I said, I totally forgot about that, which shows you how much that it played an impression on me. I completely forgot that they still didn't do the, because especially when Kenny was like, you're gonna find out tonight and maybe sooner than you think. So I thought it was supposed to be like quick, and then when it wasn't, I completely forgot about it, which is not a good thing. So what do you think of these 2 teams? You know, you got the Elite, you got Team AEW. I know we kind of talked about it at the start, but what are your overall thoughts of these 2 teams in Anarchy in the Arena at the pay-per-view? I think it'll be fun, but again, it's just kind of random.
I mean, yeah, it is kind of random, but I will say Kingston and Danielson were probably the 2 best options.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know they both had history with the Elite as well. Kingston kind of saw his beef with Okada because Okada took his Continental belt.
Yep.
So
Makes sense. I mean, what was the Anarchy match? Didn't they do Anarchy in the Arena last year at Double or Nothing?
They did. It was Blackpool Combat Club versus the Elite. And they ended the match with Takeshita attacking the Elite.
There you go. Yep, that's right. I remember the Elite and Danielson were all involved, and I thought it was Blackpool Combat Club, but I couldn't fully remember. But yeah, that was the main event. 27 minutes. Blackpool Combat Club versus the Elite. The Hangman involved too. Kenny was there. Hangman. So it's like, Danielson went from fighting against Kenny in Anarchy in the Arena to the next year fighting for Kenny. That's an interesting story, B. I wonder if they mentioned that at all. Probably not. They should, though.
I mean, the one before that, though, was the Jericho Appreciation Society versus Blackpool Combat Club.
Yes.
Then before that was...
Oh, wait. Has Danielson been in every Anarchy in the Arena?
No.
Nope, because the first one... Which one wasn't he in then?
He wasn't in the Inner Circle versus MJF's group.
That was Stadium Stampede. That wasn't Anarchy in the Arena.
Oh.
I think Danielson has been in every Anarchy in the Arena. Can we call it his match? So can we call it his match? His signature AEW match?
It's definitely a signature one.
He's when you say, Triple H has been in the most Elimination Chamber matches, or Triple H and Undertaker have been in the most Hell in a Cell matches, well, Danielson's been in all 3 now. Yeah, this will be the 3rd Anarchy in the Arena. But with that, overall, not a bad Dynamite, just a lot of confusing booking things, if I will say so. Overall, I liked the show, but I was confused by a number of things. Well, let me get the poll going here on Twitch really fast as we check the other ones. What did you think of Dynamite? I liked it. It was all right. I didn't like it. As we check the other polls as well. As far as the Threads poll does go, 86% liked the show, 14% thought it was just all right, and the one comment was, I liked it. Looking at the Twitter X poll. Switch over to the PW Unlimited account. Twitter X poll. 46% like the show. 31% didn't like the show. And 21% thought it was just all right. Looking at the YouTube community poll. 53% like the show. 27% didn't like the show. And 21% thought it was just all right. This person says, great show tonight. Any people who hate it just don't watch it. No, not that. There was a lot of confusing booking, so I can see why people dislike the show because there was a lot of confusing booking. Person says Dynamite was great from start to finish. Person says kind of disgusting how AEW are making light of real life illness with Kenny Omega. Did they learn nothing from when Roman's leukemia came back in 2018? Not the same at all. Not the same thing at all. When Roman announced my leukemia was back, he announced it on television and took time off. Kenny has made it clear that he is dealing with diverticulitis since the diagnosis and has taken time off. So now they brought it back. He was told by his doctors that he can get a little physical. And so he got a little physical last week, and now he's back, off the road. I don't think it's disgusting at all. Sometimes you need real life things in your storytelling to make it feel right. And now that you've got, Kenny trying to help run things from the side, I like that. I think it's cool. And I think it actually makes a little bit of sense. So I don't think it's making light of it. And then when you say, did they learn nothing from Roman's leukemia? It's not the same at all. Not the same at all. Roman was able to come back in 4 months. Roman literally was gone for a while, for 4 months. And Kenny's been gone for like 6 months. So it's not comparable. As far as the Twitter live or YouTube live poll does go, 56% liked the show, 24% didn't, and 21% liked it. As far as the Twitch poll does go, 67% thought it was just all right, and 33% liked the show. With that, guys, that is going to wrap everything up. I want to say thank you for joining us here. Excuse me. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Luke, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me over at Twitter X at PetGamer_21, and you can also find me over at Twitch at Young Grasshopper Luke.
With that, guys, we'll be back live on Friday for Friday Night SmackDown. Have a great night, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys.